Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Brian Wright's Triumphs. This will be the first video on the new channel. Well, it's not particularly a new channel. It's if you're wondering why we've got over 1,000 subscribers, it's because we used to do a lot of stuff with 3D printing, laser engraving. So a lot of them subscribers, a lot of you subscribers, are still here from that. Hopefully you'll stay. So we're testing out some new kit that I've got just for this, for motor vlogging, which is the Insta360. Microphones we're just sort of trying out as we go. Hopefully we can get some decent sound. The setup, I'm currently talking through a Ford Sports FXS. It's not a deer Bluetooth, but it seems to do the trick for connecting to the Insta360 camera. So we're just going to work at the minute. While we test everything out. So a little bit about me is I've been riding bikes for 51 years. I think it is at present. I'm 56. I've been riding bikes since I was 5 years old. I've raced motocross, I've done track racing and everything in between. From starting off when I was a nipper on some old little Honda 90 step through, to buying my first road bike myself when I was 17, which is, it was a GS 125. Then we obviously progressed, as you do when you're a young chavvy teenager. Changed the GS for an RD 125 and progressed up the RD range. 250LC, 350LC, I've had a 500LC Yamaha. Then I got an RG 500 Gamma, which was a rip snorting animal of its day. 2-stroke. With all the sports bikes, R1s, ZX10s, Fireblades, and I've loved them all. Loved the sports bikes, but now I'm at 56 years old. I don't really have a sports bike arse anymore. So kind of I bought this Triumph, which is a 2012 model. It's a Triumph 1200 Explorer. And to be honest, I'm really enjoying riding the bike. I haven't had it that long. Bought it off Steve Bateman Superbikes. Within sort of 4 weeks, I couldn't tax the bike for 4 weeks because the Steve Bateman Motorcycles had sent off for the logbook online, so I had to wait for the logbook coming back. And then when the logbook come back, I'd been starting the bike intermittently while it was parked up. You know, I just keep the battery in check. So when the logbook come back, we taxed the bike, and it broke down. It never even got off the drive. Well, hats off to Steve Bateman. He stood up. He paid for the bike to be fixed, which was the stepper motor over the throttle bodies. We're currently having a bit of an argument with data tool alarms at the minute. There was a recall done on the alarm. It was a few years ago now, back in 2017 or something like that. My alarm wasn't fixed at the time on that recall, so now Data Tool are trying to get out of fixing the alarm. I think this is my daughter in this van. Let's give it a quick wave. So Data Tool are saying that the recall was kind of a decade ago and they no longer need to honour it, but they do. A safety recall is a safety recall, which means that it's timeless, never ending, so they need to fix that. So we're just playing around with camera angles and stuff on the bike. I've currently got it mounted on a bracket on the mirror, so we'll see how that goes. If the angle's not good, I'll have a look in Insta360 editing suite later at the video and see what the crack is. All this traffic you see going by, that's most of it's going to that Sellafield nuclear plant. So there's a few things on the bike I still need to set up, just to get it right for me. I'll do a little bit of a longer ride round this morning, like not much longer, a couple of minutes longer. Only takes me about 10 minutes to get into work. Usually I just drop down into town and then come straight back up the other side of a hill. So, but this morning I thought, while we do this intro, let you know who we are, what we do, what we're going to do. So I'm kind of hopefully going to be training to become a motorcycle instructor this year. Hopefully that'll happen, and if it does, we'll video that along the way, from start to finish. And the main aim of that goal is really to start a motorbike school, my own motorbike school. Where I live, there's only one motorbike school here. I think he only works kind of 2 or 3 days a week, but there's young kids crying out to try and get the CBT so they can get the leg over a 50cc or 125 motorbike. And to be honest with you, I'm a firm believer that motorcycling nowadays, it's a dying art form, really. Well, I don't know if it's an art form, but it's definitely dying. When I was a kid and I was on the road with my bike, everybody had a bike, 125, 50cc, whatever, but everybody had one. And that's how we all got around and enjoyed ourselves. But nowadays you don't see so many, not in this area anyway. Kids are kind of hanging on now until they're 17 and they learn to drive, then they're jumping in a car and that's it, they never touch 2 wheels. So a lot of these kids that's trying to get the CBT and then not being able to get on a course, I think they're just then hanging out till they're 17 to be able to get a car. So I thought, if I open a school up, one of the lads from work, if I open a school up, I can get people through the CBT onto 2 wheels, and hopefully they'll grow and have the passion like we do. It's quite a brisk morning this morning, it's a little bit nippy. Maybe help if I put the motorbike pants on instead of just a pair of jeans, but hey. So that's kind of the plan. I don't know if you can see any of that view there, nice view this morning, sun coming up over the top of the mountain. So hopefully we'll get that done. We'll open a school up. I'm doing the full course, so it means I can down train people. So I've got a couple of friends who would like me to down train them, and my plan is once I get them down trained, they can teach the students. I should be able to retire then. The school will earn its money. I do have a bit of a building business as well, but that's kind of taking its strain on the body at the minute. So here we are, we've arrived at work. So I'll cut this video short, but hopefully I'll drop in to another video later on. I need to go to the bike shop later and pick up some bits from when the bike was in for repair the other day.
A little longer than a few minutes later. A few moments later.
So here we are again, fresh out of Lakeland Motorcycles. We've got the bits that we needed. I'll tell you one thing with these Triumph Tiger 1200s, they're a heavy bike. Like, I'm 5'7", and when we're two up, when I've got the wife on the back, it can be a really heavy motor to kind of move around. It's slow speeds really. Once you set off moving, the bike feels quite light and nimble, but until that point, like if you go in a car park and you're trying to manoeuvre, you have to stop for cars and stuff. With only being 5'7", you have to make sure your feet are properly on the ground before you actually come to a stop, if you will. So, but anyway, we're all sorted there. We've still got a bit of an issue going on with data tool, like I was saying this morning. Well, I just can't believe what a glorious day it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Nice riding weather. A little bit windy up this neck of the woods, but gorgeous weather. So I used to enjoy kind of Sundays in summer when I had R1s and GSX1000s. All the lads would meet up, we'd all go for a race around, and it was pretty much a race around as well, man. Everywhere was like 100 mile an hour plus, I think. Every roundabout was a knee down, and you come off a roundabout, or everybody's trying to put it on the back wheel, or some lads, one of the lads, his nickname's Apple. He gets that nickname because he's got rosy cheeks. He'd put it on the back wheel and he'd sit there all day. I actually think at one point he lost his license for doing wheelies. So, but he was the same. He's raced motocross and everything as well. So, but right now it's just kind of enjoy the ride, and maybe you could tell me what kind of content you'd like to see. I know I'm going to be doing some camping trips with the wife, so I'll take you on them camping trips. And obviously, like I was saying on the first video this morning, I'm going to be hopefully training to be a motorcycle instructor, with the hope of opening my own school. That's going to be my retirement plan. I retired in 3 years. When I get to 60, that'll be my retirement. The wife's 10 years younger, so I'll have the pleasure of watching her go to work, but a little bit more, although I do think when I retire she'll not be far behind us really. She kind of wants us to go off and do loads of stuff, so I know we're planning on doing a trip through Europe next year, I think it is. It won't be this year anyway. We've got a kind of a fully booked year this year. We go to Krakow in May. Then I'll take you with us when we go we're going to a shepherd's hut in August, and then I think we're away again in October on a cruise. So my kids that still live at home, my two girls, they're like 18 and 19. They're no doubt they'll be partying in the house while we're away. Hopefully they won't wreck it. You'll see as we approach the house, you'll see the house. It's kind of I've been building it for 11 years, to be honest, and it's kind of, we're working full time, and I run 3 online shops, not big, not overly busy shops, but they kind of tie us up a little bit. I'll be doing some stuff for them when I get back home today. I've got a lot of birthday cards to make, wooden birthday cards. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see them. Then you can have a look. But it's kind of, and then we're doing the building, like I kind of build for everybody else. I'm I'm a time saver roofer. So when I left school, I was actually I went and done my bricklaying apprenticeship. Um, and kind of within the first year, um, I kind of knew I didn't want to. Well, not that I didn't want to do it. I just didn't really like it. But I'd started it. I was a year in, and I thought, right, I might as well stick with it. Um, One of the only bits of advice that my dad gave us um, while he was in and out of prison was get a trade and do what you want after that. So I stuck it out. I got my bricklaying apprenticeship. I moved to London when I finished that for 18 months, and I was bricklaying down there. Um, and I kind of got offered a job with a plastering company, Maslin and Sons. I'll never forget them. Um, and I worked for them for the remainder of my time I was down there. Saved up a bit of cash, lived in a bedsit. Dogs probably slept in better places than I did. But we managed to save a bit of money, and being up in Cumbria, property prices then were really cheap. So I found a house, it was a repossession, and I bought that for 16,000, I think I paid for that. Luckily, um, I'd saved up, so I bought that house anyway, and then that's kind of, I've always bought and sold houses since really. I don't do it like in a hurry. I kind of spend it, like, well, the first house I actually bought, I bought the house and then I left it standing for 2 years, just empty. Um, and I was doing a bit of bricklaying for a roofer, Brian Anderson Roofing at the time. And we were standing having a crack one summer's day it was. Never forget, Brian Anderson was an absolute top bloke. And it was kind of, he asked did I actually enjoy what I was doing, and I said no, I don't actually. I don't really like bricklaying. So he asked would I be interested in training up to become a roofer. So I kind of snapped his hands off at that. And it was, even though I was already a tradesman, you started off at the bottom, so kind of like labouring, and then you progressed up, and then I went under the wing of another roofer, Les Rigg, they called him. He's passed away now, God rest his soul. But he was a really nice lad. He was a good lad. He looked after us, and he kind of put me through my time. So that's how I ended up with two trades. But I always favoured roofing over bricklaying. And it was while I was working for a roofer, Cumbria Roofing at the time. We were hit head on by a car in the van, and kind of it put my roofing career on hold for a lot of years actually. Damaged my shoulder, my back, and various other bits and bobs. But anyway, as part of a damage limitation for the insurance company, really, they asked would I like to do training something else. So I said yeah, okay, and I picked wagons, class 1 drivers. You could just go straight to in your class 1 back in them days. So I picked a class 1, and the insurance company actually paid for me to go through that. So that way they didn't have to pay obviously as much compensation, because I was then able to go back to work. So I went driving wagons for a lot of years really. Alright lads, there's from work then, guys there. So every time I see somebody or something, I lose track of where it is. So then I went with driving wagons for a lot of years, like tramping, which is like where you stop away from home for the week, a bit of European work and all the rest of it. And then when I worked for Eddie Stobbart as well. I wanted to work for Eddie Stobbart all my life. Oh well, all the time I was driving, it was a big dream to work for Eddie Stobbart. And you know something, it was the biggest letdown I've ever had. It really was. They were horrible to work for. So anyway, I went from Eddie Stobart, say, with my last employer on the Arctics. So I moved from Eddie Stobart and I went to kind of the council driving the bin wagons. And I thought, oh, this will be really easy driving bin wagons compared to an Arctic. Holy cramoly. The places you have to put them bin wagons is absolutely shocking. You wouldn't put a motorbike in some of the places you expect us to get in with a wagon, but we do get in, and it's kind of how it is. But it's good. I enjoy the job. The hours are good. 7:15 to 3:15. But I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I have orders that come in at night for the online shops. So I like to get them designed up and put on the machines, and then they tick away all day while I'm at work. And then by the time I finish work and go back, they'll be finished. So a lot of this traffic now you see coming down here, that's Sellafield nuclear plant. That's a lot of the workers from there. So this is heading down into Whitehaven now. Whitehaven, it's a gorgeous little town, Whitehaven. What I'll do one day is I'll take you to a ride and take you on a ride with us, and I'll show you around a bit around Whitehaven and what it's all about. Apparently it used to be one of the biggest working ports on the west coast of England. And when I was a kid, I remember growing up as a kid, we used to go downtown, as you do, when you're young, like 8 and 9 years old, and your mum allowed you to go into town with your mates on the bus. And we used to go down, and we'd go down the dock, and it was a working dock at the time. There was like cranes and everything else there. Marchon was like a big soap factory. I think it was like American owned or something like that. They had cranes on the dock, and we had big ships that would park outside, and they'd transship what they were carrying onto like smaller ships, and then the smaller ships would come in the dock and be offloaded by the cranes. And then if you can see just to the left of that McDonald's sign, there's a big hill. Well, there used to be a train track that run all the way up that hill, and then they'd take it all up to the factory that was at the top of the hill. It was a really bustling town. You had Sellafield getting built. It was already built. It was built in the 50s, Sellafield, but like being modernised and new ponds or whatever you call them, cooling ponds or something, getting built. There was contractors everywhere. There was a lot of wealth in the town, Whitehaven town and Egremont town. There was a lot of wealth in these towns. But obviously then Sellafield decided to start decommissioning, and Marchon shut down, and kind of everything just died off, and now it's kind of the towns are ghost towns. There's the retail shops are all kind of shutting down in the town, and I think we've got more takeaways than we have actual retail shops. You used to come down into Whitehaven town on a Saturday when you were younger, and there'd be a market on. There was always a market on a Saturday, a Thursday and a Saturday. I think was the market days, and you couldn't move from market stalls and people doing the shopping, and young kids like us down messing about and having a laugh, and all that's gone now. I think there's one market stall now on a Saturday. So them buildings that's in front of you, they're the Sellafield buildings. And then these buildings here, they're Sellafield buildings as well. These are where they keep all the office staff. And they do give a little bit of money into the town, like kind of on the dinner breaks and stuff. Not a lot really. They think they keep the town alive, but they don't. So I'm coming up towards home now. I'll probably edit off where I actually live, you know, because you never know who watches YouTube videos, do you? And as I rise up to the top here, bit of a bad road this. You generally can't get people that drive on here, but he waited, so we'll say thank you. Thank you. Cheers, buddy, thank you. I should have done like Harvey rides bikes there and give him a bag of Haribos or something for stopping. So if you haven't watched Harvey rides bikes on YouTube or Ride Like Mike, I'd recommend them two channels because they are actually really good. Motovlog channels, but they are really good channels to watch. So that's presuming anybody actually watches this video to know that. So, but anyway, guys, I'll cut you short there, and then at least I know where to stop the video at. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, like and subscribe. There'll be a lot more content coming, hopefully once or twice a week, and get a few more rides in with you.